Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to talk a little bit about the hair loss pills. Okay, so these would be DHT inhibitors like finasteride, and so I was aware of this medication when it came out, uh, but for whatever reason, I decided I didn't really look into it as far as I wasn't desperate to take it. And in hindsight, wow, I'm glad that I did not get caught in that trap. And so the problem with these medications is number one, you have to take them for the rest of your life. And in my opinion, anyone that thinks that they can take a medication long term for the rest of their life without it affecting other things in your body, I would say you're out of your mind, because the body doesn't work that way. I think what happens is that sometimes these medications take it takes a long time to start seeing things pop up, and so it wouldn't be shocking to me if a lot of these guys end up with some kind of cancer. Could even be prostate cancer. And the reason being is that if you look at some of the studies out there, and I believe this, like I said, this is my opinion. All this explosion in cancer and even prostate cancer, it has more to do with the estrogens that are in the system, in the environment, and so you see the skyrocketing of cancer and other issues. It's like we're being chemically altered, and so it's not necessarily DHT, but either or. Regardless, when you start lowering DHT, you're lowering what gives the for a male. This is what's going to give you drive, part of it, and it's going to give you a feeling of well-being. And so if you look at some of these issues with the medication, and not everybody experiences this, but they, like mental fog, or some will have depression. I think that for some people it's immediate, and for others it's very long term. Because what happens is when you're lowering DHT, your body turns into just a blob over time. You know, DHT is part of the endocrine system. I mean, if you're going to lower DHT and you're going to lower drive, chances are you're not going to work out because you don't have the drive. But not only that, you don't have it doesn't have that. Your body doesn't have the ability to build that muscle tissue, so it all becomes futile. And so here's the point: why are you doing this? What is it with the hair? Uh, who are you trying to impress with your hair? You know, I think for a lot of guys, it has to do with attracting the opposite sex. Maybe not for everybody, but I think for a lot of guys, I think that we could probably all agree on that. And here's the thing: do you think a woman is going to be attracted to some guy that looks like a blob because he has a head of hair? Or will she be more apt to be attracted to someone that is really fit and healthy, regardless of how much hair he has? In my opinion, it will be the latter, because masculinity is a definition of health, in my opinion, through the eyes of a female. And being a blob, if you look at some of these guys that have been on these medications long term, giant man boobs is not a sign of masculinity. And so this is something you have to think long and hard about. It's easy to do, I suppose, when you're 20 and you're desperate. A lot of guys go on these medications. I don't think you're going to find a guy that's older that's going to go on these medications. It doesn't happen. It's usually guys that are going to be really young, that are really desperate, that don't understand medications and long-term effects. They're going to be attracted to these medications. And like I say, long-term, I think it's a time bomb. So think long and hard. And even if you do want to have a procedure, a hair transplant procedure, in my opinion, you're better off without the medications. Just plan to have a procedure later in life and plan around the numbers. Bottom line, you got 5,000 grafts. Where can you put those so it's going to look normal? That's really what it comes down to. And as far as saving your hair with medications, in my opinion, it's a very bad idea. But that's not going to stop guys. But this is just going to give them something to think about. And there's plenty of information out there. There are groups getting together to sue these pharmaceutical companies. A lot of guys ended up with ED. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, if you're a male and you end up with erectile dysfunction, and it's permanent, which for some guys it seems to be the case. Some guys it comes back, but that's like playing with a loaded gun. I don't know. I can only imagine what goes through the minds of a young guy that happens to. It has to be devastating. So anyhow, think long and hard. And times have changed. All you have to do is look at the popularity of something like MMA. And if you go to a gym that's loaded with MMA fighters, which I have done, a lot of women in those classes. And they're all attracted to the guys with the shaved heads that are in there rolling with the jiu-jitsu or, hitting the pads with the Muay Thai. They're attracted to those guys. Why? Don't fall into a trap. I think that one of the best things you could do if you're losing your hair is get involved with an MMA gym. It'll occupy your mind, and it will build your confidence. And you realize that, wow, I don't need to worry about my hair. It means nothing in the big picture. So like I say, think long and hard about all this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.